Hello, I'm Sophia. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to do this combo, which is a really pretty, flowy, just feels really nice to dance kind of combo. So please make sure that you are nice and warm and of course do both sides because we only do one side in this video. And as you know, I'm not really able to play music, so please have some beautiful music ready to go, especially at the end when we dance the combo together, because it always feels better when you've got that music on as well to, help you get into the moment and enjoy the whole thing just that little bit more. We'll go through it, we'll learn it, we'll make it strong, and then of course at the end we'll talk about how to make it graceful and finessed. So let's get straight to it. We're gonna start our combo with a carousel spin with a baseball grip. So with your baseball grip, we just want one hand on top of the other and both thumbs are up. And when we step into this spin, we really want to work on staying on the pole for the whole time. So in other words, trying not to touch down between each spin. Of course, if you need to touch down, you can, but the idea is, firstly, we want to keep the fluidity and keep that spin happening for the overall grace of the combo, but also staying on the pole for longer is what really builds our strength, particularly in this style of pole. It's moving with control and trying to stay on the pole for the whole time. So that's just really something that's good to kind of keep in the back of your mind to work up towards. Right, let's get into it. So we have our baseball grip, sweep your outside leg around. So step forward on your inside leg and then sweep this outside leg around into your carousel spin. We're gonna lift the chest and look up the pole and of course pull your shoulders down. Now from here, we sweep the legs around into what we call a fire lady spin. So I'm pretty sure a fire lady spin is not called a fire lady in many different studios. If you think about it like a knee spin, but with one leg extended, that's always a nice way to think about it. So if I show you this way, if we just squeeze in through here and then extend that leg. So that's your fire lady spin. Ideally as well, we're holding the pole with our knees so that we can take this inside arm or this bottom arm off the pole. So it's quite strong on your knees. You really do need to squeeze in quite a lot, particularly with the leg that's straight, because when we extend it, we tend to just think like it's just an extension of the spin, but it's actually not. As you extend, you really do need to push it into the pole so that you can take that arm off. So let's try that. We'll step on the inside foot into our carousel spin with the chest up. Now really squeeze your bum. Now sweep the legs around and then squeeze through the knees, especially that extended leg. And then if you can, take this arm off. So in terms of making those spins really strong, there's a lot of upper body strength there, particularly with your carousel. So lifting your chest, but really pulling your shoulders down. It's one reason why I really love that baseball grip, because it really enables you to pull down through the shoulders. And then of course, squeezing your bum and extending your legs. So in a carousel spin, particularly one like this, we don't want any micro bends in our legs. We want to really engage the leg muscles and pull up, lengthening out through the toes as well. So you should feel your back extensors working and you should feel it working right down the back of your legs as well. From our fire lady spin, the arm that's extended back is then going to pull into an elbow grip here or an embrace. The arm that comes first, the one from the back, this is the one that's actually going to take most of the load. Most of your work will be in this arm. So even though this one's coming on top, what it really does, because we're a little bit sideways here as we lean back, when you come up, you need to pull yourself in with this hand. So in here, hook and squeeze, and as soon as that elbow wraps around the pole, engage your biceps. So really squeeze in and bring this hand to the other shoulder, and that's really going to help you pull in from the fire lady. It seems like a really almost simple transition, but it's actually quite tricky because you're only holding on with your knees at that point. And also the pole is going to speed up quite a lot when you do that. So we've slowed down the pole, then we pull in, wrap, and we'll really speed up at that point. So that's why you have to engage straight away to lock yourself into the pole. This elbow then goes on the top, and what this one does, it kind of straightens your shoulders and levels you out a bit, and then bring this hand to the opposite shoulder as well. But remember that this one's got most of the work in it. So then we're in a knee spin at this point with both legs bent. So let's try that then. We'll go from our carousel spin with our butt squeezing and our chest up, shoulders down. Now sweep around into your fire lady and just pull the shoulders down a little bit more to release that arm. Now let's pull in, wrap the elbow and squeeze. Now bend your leg back so you're in your knee spin and pop that one on the top. Now from here, your top arm goes back up again and bring this hand down kind of across your belly so you can give yourself a push and end up in your Hollywood spin. So the transferring of the work there is really what's going to enable you to stay in control and also keep it nice and strong but fluid at the same time. Here in your knee spin, obviously we've talked about the elbow grip there, but obviously your knees are really squeezing for your knee spin as well. When this hand goes back up, transfer the load, the work completely. So when you put this hand up and pull down, then you don't need this elbow anymore in the embrace. So it's squeezing here, keep this squeezing, lift, transfer the load to the hand, and then you don't need this anymore, so you can bring your hand down and push away from the pole, of course, to get into your Hollywood. Remember with your Hollywood, as soon as that leg hooks onto the pole, you want to press your hips forward so that your inner thigh is really pushing into the pole for that grip. Keep that pulling down through the shoulder, and then you can take that arm off the pole. So we have our carousel to our fire lady, to a knee spin embrace, reach back up and push back into a Hollywood spin. And then from our Hollywood spin here, with the arm off if you can, but you don't have to, we're going to sweep this leg around to the front of the pole and then pull down through the shoulders, unhook this leg and extend it into a pole sit. When you have a transition like that, we really want to go slower, kind of you have to fight the urge to rush into that, because that, especially on spinning pole, can be a moment of a beautiful fluidity if you just keep it slow. When we unhook this leg into our pole set and extend it into the pole set, we want to think of what we call a développé. When I say we, I mean it's really from ballet. I don't think anyone calls it that. It's just me. It's a développé. Basically what we're doing is we are unfolding the leg to the top, and that's what's going to give it that really beautiful moment. And of course we're going to talk more about that at the end, but it's also quite a strength point as well, because you've got to go slow, which means you've got to take that work into your arms at that point. Shoulders are down, beautiful back and shoulder engagement will enable you to take your time as you unfold. I will talk more about that. For now, all you want to think about is lifting through the quads, extending and placing it on the top. And then of course, as it goes on the top, hip is tilted and we're in a true pole set straight away so that we can go back into a layout. So let's pick it up from the Hollywood spin. So if you just want to go into a Hollywood for now, just so we can practice that. So we're here, hand comes back on, pull those shoulders down, sweep the leg around, take your time to unfold and place your leg on the top. Bring your hand down so you can go through your standard layout, and then we're going to bend the bottom leg and grab the foot for a layout variation. There are lots of different ways that you can do that particular variation. Sometimes it's called a stag layout. It's got lots of different names. Basically, you just want to grab your foot, and for this particular version, we're going to just lift that top leg, so we're opening out the layout a little bit, And also with your back leg, when you grab it, we're going to open that out as well. It can be a simple entry. Once you get into the entry, that's when you open up the shape. If you go sideways to reach your foot, and then once you've got it, try to grab around the front of the foot as well, because that'll enable you to really push into it, kind of, if you can, rather than grabbing your toes like that. It's going to be a more solid grip if you can grab the front of your foot. So remember, sideways, open your chest and turn your chest sideways so you can reach. Grab the foot and then open up the back of your knee. Also, let it open up your shoulder. So even that one little move, it doesn't really rely on massive back flexibility. It's just the illusion by opening up sideways. And then again, to complete that illusion that we are in a back bend, if you just turn your head and look up, it'll look like a back bend even though it's more sideways. I hope that makes sense. Let's go from our Hollywood spin and try all of that. So we go Hollywood, here, one arm off. Now sweep the leg around, unfold this top leg and place it on the top. Bring your hand down. We're sweeping this arm back, and then as soon as you get there, bend that leg. Now remember, you want to go sideways here. So turn your chest to reach the foot. Once you've got the front of the foot, open up the back of the knee, open the shoulder, lift that other leg, and then just turn your head. And it's still sideways. You're just giving the illusion that it's not. From here, we release into a scissor layout and reach that arm back. And I've stopped spinning, but let's finish it off anyway. We come up, bring the legs into what we call a vomitron. I think it's also called a baby snake, but basically you're just going from a scissor, legs together and bend. And this hand comes up to a cup grip. So your thumb is down, inside arm threads through to here. We hold that shape for a couple of rotations and then we just release the arms, which is like a swan variation. And that's the whole combo. Let's just quickly talk about those kind of couple of transitions as well. So we're in our layout and then we extend to a scissor layout. So we want to just release the bottom leg and then extend even more. So you want to think about full extension, which is energy out through your fingers and your toes at the same time. Sometimes just that tiny little movement can make such a difference to the strength and of course the like the finesse of the move as well, but also the strength. So you're reaching back and then the legs come together and pull back, bringing this hand up to a cup grip with your thumb down. Thread this arm through and around into your vomitron or baby snake. Keep the legs where they are, and then we just release the arms out for the finish. Okay, that's really where the combo ends. Of course, you can use it as a whole combo, or you can put it as part of a combo and create the rest. That's where we're going to stop anyway, in that pose there. Let's do that second half one more time with all of those spins. When we're doing the sit, layout, vomitron to snake, the grip there relies entirely on your thighs. It's really about a sit. That means that when we unfold from our Hollywood into that first pole sit there, that's going to be the setup for the second half of the combo. So it's really important at that moment that you set up a beautiful sit, that it's where it should be, that your hip is up, that you're rolling your thighs in, and you have a really beautiful engagement there, like really squeezing, because then all of the other moves will be, you know, solid because you've set up that first sit properly. So let's try. We've got our Hollywood spin here, then we sweep the leg around, pull down through the shoulders, unfold the leg slowly, set up, take a moment to set up that beautiful sit. Hand comes down, sweep the arm back, bend the bottom leg, and then grab the front of the foot sideways. Now we open up, open the back of the knee, open the shoulder, lift the leg, and just turn your head. Now release the foot, and here's your extended layout. Energy out through your fingers and toes. Legs together, pull back, hand comes to cup grip, thread through and pull in. And then to finish, we just unfold the arms. Let's try the whole thing now, just trying to focus on the transitions. Let's just keep our focus on moving slowly and really setting up the grip points. The best way to do that is preempting what comes next, knowing that you're going to set up now for the knee spin, squeezing in through the elbow, knowing that you're going to set up that sit for the rest of the combo. Knowing those things can keep the whole combo controlled, because then you just set the grip points and you can keep moving through. So let's try it from the top with the focus on that. Let's start with our carousel spin. We step on the inside foot, we're going into a baseball grip, and we're sweeping this leg out around to initiate the spin. So pulling down through the shoulders, squeezing your bum. Sweep the legs into your fire lady, squeeze the knees, and then arm off if you can. Now pull in, wrap the elbow, squeeze the bicep. Squeeze back, and we're in our knee spin. Top arm goes back up, take the load to the hand, push for Hollywood, and then sweep the leg around, unfold, set your sit. Bring it down, and through your layout, and into stag, turn your chest, to the side, turn your head up. Extend here. Now, legs together, cup grip, thread through for your Vomitron, and then just unfold the arms. So that little unfold there at the end from your Vomitron, you want to keep the grip here at the back of your shoulder, and then you just open the arms. So you're still pushing back into the pole for that extra little grip point. So the best way to do that, there's two ways. You want to keep your chest lifted so that your back is pushing into the pole. And you also, even though your arms are out, if you just squeeze them back slightly, it pushes there and it feels very solid. We've talked a lot about grip points today, and that really is the focus for a combo like this, is preempting what's coming next and getting yourself into those grip points with muscle engagement before you move into the shape. And then the other thing that we're just going to talk about in terms of keeping it strong is the extensions. So I know I touched on that before, but really just using your legs to hold the shapes. If your legs are straight, make them straight, not here. Like really engage. And when they're bent, it's because we're using our knees to hold onto the pole, or we're using our thighs here to push into the pole. So really focus on your leg strength today, as well as, of course, the shoulders that we talked about. So let's try the whole thing again, just with that focus of the strength through the shoulders and the strength in the legs as well. So we step into our carousel spin here, sweep around, squeeze those knees. Now that leg that's extended, really pull up the quads, pull in, squeeze, use your knees to hold on, take that arm up, push, and into your Hollywood spin. Now sweep around, think about those legs really working overtime there. And then we sweep around, bend, grab it sideways, and then open the chest and shoulders. Release, think about your legs, really pull up your quads. Pull in, cup grip, thread here, squeeze the legs, and then just pull the arms back slightly to press into the pole. Let's get into how we make it soft and beautiful. While our muscles are engaged and we're holding onto the pole as much as we can, we're going to give the illusion that we're being soft. And if there's a few certain moments in this combo where we can do that. So the first one, of course, being that fire lady spin. Legs are working overtime. This arm's working overtime. Knees are squeezing in. Soft arm. Float the arm back behind you. Lead with your elbow and then unfold through the fingertips. And you never really have to, for this particular combo, we don't necessarily want to reach back and hold. We actually just want to float it back. By the time we've floated it back, it floats back in again. So there's not really an ending there. But just see when we do that, even just standing here, if you pull away from the pole slightly and pull back in, that also makes it just gives a fluidity to the movement rather than just kind of being stiff here like this. You want to think about reaching out, and you can look back with your fingers as well, and then as you get there, come back in. So that's the Fire Lady spin. In our knee spin embrace, it's more of a dramatic moment. We're actually going to drop our head back, but I will warn you, remind you that looking up can make you really dizzy, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But if you don't get dizzy, then that is a really nice way to finesse that move, because it's already lovely, but we're gonna make it even more dramatic by dropping our head back. And the final thing that I really like to do on the knee spin embrace is actually kind of emphasize our, feminine lines and curves by sticking your bottom out a little bit. So still keep your abs engaged, but squeeze through here, drop your head back, and stick your butt out. And it just gives a beautiful shape to that movement. We go through our Hollywood. Once again, we're back to that soft arm as it reaches out. And then as we sweep into our sit, when we go into our layout, this bottom arm, just sweep it over your head and around to your foot rather than just grabbing. So we talked about how to stay sideways to grab your foot. When you lift up, you can kind of extend your chest up more, but then follow your arm with your chest as you grab your foot. Looks beautiful, but also works really well for setting up that move so that it doesn't look so stiff. Lift, turn, and grab. We've talked about our extended layout or our scissor layout. A nice little tip for that to make it even more, to give it an even more beautiful line is not just energy out through your fingers and toes, but to actually lift through your chest at the same time. Again, just that tiny little movement can make such a difference to the overall finesse. So you're in your scissor layout and then lift your chest. Take your time to come up and then thread your arm through and around. Now, if you really struggle with that transition, you might have tight shoulders or something. Another good option is to actually come up, bring your hand kind of across your belly first, get your arm through and around, and then you can come up into your Vomitron. So that's just a nice option if you need to, if you can't make this because of, just like I said, a bit tight in your shoulders. So we're just kind of coming up slowly as we do that. Thread through, and then of course with your Vomitron, the angle that you want to really get into, or the position that you really want to create is not really just kind of forward, it's actually forward and around, because the more you can go forward and around, the better your grip point, but also the more you can pull and open. So that's really the position of this Vomitron here at the end, like this, as opposed to being crunched in and trying to get forward, through and around. We're also going to look down our inside shoulder for that, just because it looks really beautiful. And then we'll finish off by unfolding. All right, shall we do it? Let's concentrate on keeping it soft and finessed and graceful. So now is the time to get some beautiful music on, choose a favorite song, and let's do it. And we start with our carousel spin. So step on the inside foot, sweep. Now lift your chest, squeeze, and look up the pole. Sweep, take your time, set up the knees. Now soft, floaty arm. Look back just when you get there, bring it back. Hook in. Bend, we're going to drop our head back, stick your butt out. Top arm goes up, push away, take your time to get into your Hollywood spin. Float the arm, sweep, strong legs, bring it down, now lift the chest up, and now sideways. Grab the foot, open the shoulder and chest, and then turn your head. Now full extension, fingers and toes, and lift your chest at the same time. We're pulling up, cup grip, thread through and around the pole, look down the inside shoulder, and then just open the arms and push back. And because we're all about getting strong gracefully here together, we're going to do it again. Stepping on that inside foot, step and sweep into your carousel, pull up. Sweep the legs around. Now take your time. Float the arm back, and just as you get there, pull it back in, squeeze, keep strong, drop your head back, stick your butt out. Take your time, press into your Hollywood. Soft floaty arm, sweep. Now strong legs, lift the chest. Now we go sideways. Open the back of the knee, turn your head. Full extension, lift the chest and legs together. Sweep forward and around. Look down that inside shoulder and open your elbow at the top. And then we just unfold. And that's it. Thank you so much.